This orange looks good, but maybe it could use a little more blue. What do you think? Maybe? You know somebody who would have a good idea? Genevieve DeMarco. She's a self-taught artist who loves to paint the color blue. I mean, just look at these paintings. Genevieve is part of the Solution Artist Collective. That's a group of artists whose work delves into everything from music and masks to the philosophy of Sigmund Freud. We've got an exciting show for you featuring some of their art and, as always, some conversation. It's all starting in 3, 2, 1. I'm Renata Sago, your host. Some artists get their start in art school. Others train themselves. That's how Genevieve DeMarco began her career in Orlando back in 2012. She picked up a paintbrush, got some paint, and created a piece. Now she says all her friends thought the piece was trash, but Genevieve loved it. She loved what she painted, so she kept on going. Her work has been featured at the Orlando Museum of Art and the Manello Museum of American Art. She's also exhibited in Atlanta and New York. Genevieve is here with us now. Hey, Genevieve.
Hello, how are you doing today?
I am so great. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Okay, what you got behind you? Because you always have something interesting going on. I see something that's in the works. What's that?
What I have behind me is a piece that me and one of my collective members, Jamal Johnson, we're working on. And it's a picture, a painting about Black boys. And the particular person behind me is Khalif Browder. I think that's some younger boys. And that's also Nigel Shelby. That's on the other side, which he was a 10-year-old that died being bullied. And then Khalif was, I'm not sure if you know about him, but he's whole prison reform. Stuff like that.
Yeah,
That's what's behind me.
Yeah, wow, it's phenomenal. So much of your work delves into issues related to what it means to be a Black boy growing up in the United States. You also talk a lot about sexual identity, gender expression, things like that. Now, you had a couple of shows planned earlier this year before everything happened. Mm-hmm. You were supposed to be showcasing some work at the Bronze Kingdom. That was the New Wild show. For all of us who weren't able to make that, what was that show about?
Okay, well, the New Wild show was scheduled like for March 27th, so it literally got canceled like a week before. So, but that one was going to be me and my artist collective, the Solution Artist Collective. And it was a reintroduction to the art scene here in Orlando as a group, because we've been doing our own thing individually, but we haven't had a group show since about 2015. So that was just an introduction. And the name New Wild, it came from a term, nude wilding, which was a expressionist movement back in the 80s. But I sort of liked it because it just lets you know, because art you're about to see is new. And it's just something that's out of the norm. So.
Yeah, and it's still apropos now. Now is the New Wild still. So when we think about the Solution Artist Collective, there's you, there's Eve, right? Who else is a part of the collective?
Then there's Jamal B. Johnson and Victorious McLeod.
Okay, and you all bring very different expressions. You have Eve who does masks. You also have Vic who really takes a look at different things like psychiatry, philosophy, self-identity. What does Miles' work about?
Miles' work is mostly centered around Black boys. And I know like years ago he used to be sort of kind of into macabre, but right now his focus has been completely into Black boys. So even the work that he's doing now and it's more so kind of like pop art. But that's sort of like his focus is social issues because he feels very strongly about that.
Mm-hmm. So this has been a really critical moment when we think about social issues. How has that affected your work?
How's it affected my work? Well, I started really jumping or diving into social issues around 2016. When kind of all the Black Lives Matter and protests kind of came around that time. I did an online exhibition called Power. where, I featured a painting with like a police officer and a black man that I called the national anthem. So that's when my actual started diving into social issues really started. And from then, I just haven't left it alone. And, me and Miles, he's a black man, of course, so he feels very strongly about it. So last year, we decided to just make a whole show centered around the actual issues that black boys go through, and then finish that and go to black women. But the black boys are where we currently were, and then just so happened the George Floyd thing started happening. So what we were doing already kind of just fit into the climate.
Okay, cool. So you sent some clips of yourself painting. We also have some
Yeah.
images from the collective's other work. Let's check them out right now. Oh my goodness, that is phenomenal. I so look forward to being able to see more of your work. But let me ask you a question, because you didn't just appear in Orlando. You didn't just start painting. You're actually from a small town in Louisiana called Patterson. It's what, about 6,000 people there? So everybody knows everybody's business?
That might be a little bit generous, 6,000, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I think we
So,
probably was around 5 or 4 last time I checked. But yeah,
wow.
everybody knows everybody business.
Wow. And so your father is a band teacher. You sort of grew up immersed in this musical world. How has that influenced your own identity as an artist?
Well, my dad, whenever I was young, he was a band teacher, so like we had to play instruments from a young age. So I chose the saxophone from about the time I was 6. I've been playing the saxophone, but how does that affect me as an artist? Well, I love music a lot, so now I sort of intertwine music into a lot of my artwork. I like old jazz musicians like Nina Simone. I like Coltrane. I like Miles Davis, Lee Morgan. So I kind of like to incorporate that into a lot of my work.
That's awesome. So what's ahead? What's ahead? You've been selling pieces in the midst of
Yeah.
all that's happened.
Yes, COVID has definitely taught me to use other ways, other resources. So where, I was going out to have shows now, most of my focus has just kind of been the internet. And yes, pieces have been selling on Instagram, like originals. Crazy. I just had to ship like a 54 by 54 like last week. So I'm thankful for that. But right now, where I am is I kind of want to get into more of the online exhibition. I did one in 2016, but now it seems like it's more accepting. So I just kind of want to do more than that because I like to make collections. And hopefully, whenever we can get our group shows back, I can go back outside. But as far as being inside, I just want to do things online.
Yes. Well, before you came on, I was working on a piece, Genevieve, and I
What?
kind of wanted to I wanted to get your feedback. I know your friends had said that what you had originally done was trash. So please don't tell me what I'm doing is trash. Um, how can I show you what this? Do you think this could use more blue? What colors do you think?
Um, it just keeps going. How big is it?
It's bigger than my face.
Oh, okay. I do think it needs more blue. I think it's perfect.
Oh, it's perfect. Thank you so much. You're the best. I'll
What'd you
let you
name
know.
it?
It doesn't have a name.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us, Genevieve. We really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to seeing more, forward to coming up with the name for this work. The Solution Artist Collective, that is the name of your group. How can we follow you?
Well, also, if you want to collab, just let me know. I definitely would love to put a little bit into that. But as far as my collective, you can always follow us. You'll be able to follow my collective on Instagram. It's called Solution Art Collective. And also, my name on Instagram is The Color of My Soul is Blue. And I'm also on Facebook, G DeMarco Art, and I'm on Twitter, G DeMarco Art also. And our
That's,
website is thesolutionart.com.
that's awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
No problem. Thank you for inviting me.
I hope you enjoyed today's show. You can find more episodes on demand on YouTube at orangetvfl.net. Follow me as well at Renata Sago. Looking forward to seeing you next time. And please know we are always looking for more talent. Thank you to everyone who's already sent your videos. I know that you have more talent to send. All you have to do is submit your video to live@orangetvfl.net through Dropbox or WeTransfer, and we might use it on a future episode of Live from Home. Until next time, stay well.